You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's WWE SmackDown After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's WWE SmackDown After Show.
WrestleMania creeps closer and closer as we start the WWE to travel further down south to New Orleans. And tonight we are in my hometown, well, my home state, I should say, of Boston.
He hesitated.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I was like,
It's my home state of Massachusetts. I'm not from Boston, but it's close enough. Welcome to AfterBuzz SmackDown, everybody. I am Christian Rosenberg. You already heard their voices, so we'll just go ahead and introduce the other people here. My usual crew, Miss Cora Takee. How are you, my dear?
No, the lovely, no, the beautiful.
Well, the lovely, the beautiful, and the amazing person who bought us in and out
Okay.
while we watched SmackDown tonight.
Cool.
And apparently we're still hungry and we're eating popcorn as we do this show. And next to Corey, all like the corporate Rome Moore right now. Yeah, he's got the shirt and tie, and you know it's fancy because the collar of the shirt is a different color than the actual shirt.
Yes.
And it's lavender, too. What?
Yeah.
I like lavender.
Okay.
Girls dig lavender.
They do.
Yeah.
Works. Think about it.
I've thought enough about it. So before we get into tonight's SmackDown from Boston, let's just kind of touch on the Twitter question, or the YouTube question, I should say, that we asked our viewers last week about the most underrated wrestler in their opinion over the last 20 years. I tried to get it out as much as I could before Don Fry just continued to verbally beat me to shreds last week. We love Don Fry. We love Don Fry, and he will be back.
Yes.
He had a great time. I know because I texted him after I ran out of the studio after the show because he was scary.
I'm glad you got your regular color back since, you dropped the F-bomb and messed your whole game up.
I was fined. I was fined by the AfterBuzz brass.
You was?
Yeah.
You were. That's bad.
Yeah, next time I'm suspended. We don't want that.
Drop an F-bomb tonight.
It's different from other hosts. It's one thing if the guests do it, if another host does it. But we got a good array of wrestlers that people felt were extremely underrated. Some of them that were mentioned were Bob Holly, William Regal, Dean Malenko, Shelton Benjamin, Drew McIntyre, Shane McMahon mentioned as well.
That's actually a good one.
Yeah, isn't it?
I like that one. Yeah.
Alicia Fox also mentioned.
Hey, that's a good one, too, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so out of curiosity, there's so many that we can choose from. If you were to pick one that really stood out to you, who would it be?
You go first.
Me?
I'm not touching that one yet.
I was going to say Titus.
Titus?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he should be in more matches. I think he's really strong, and he puts on a good show all the time. And not because he's in my man box.
I didn't say that.
But I'm just saying, letting you know.
And I do consider him one of the more underrated superstars on the current roster, without a doubt. So I can accept that answer.
And I did some field work, and I think Lance Storm as well.
Lance Storm is a great one. Lance Storm, highly underrated. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess everyone looking at me, that's my cue. So I am going to say the late, great Owen Hart.
Oh, well, that's like a no-brainer one right there. Many people consider him the greatest never to win the title.
Yeah, one of the greatest to never get the title. They stuck that horrible blue blazer gimmick back on him toward the end. But he was just as good as Brett, even better in some ways. And he was a joy to be around in the locker room from what we hear. He was always a prankster. He kept everything lively. But, unfortunately, he never got that upper level push. But still underrated, but phenomenal guy.
Yeah. Mine to me has always been William Regal. Because Regal could wrestle with anyone, very similar to Owen. Regal could talk. He could be comedic, yet also be dastardly and vicious.
Yeah.
And did the commissioner role extremely well. They could have done so much with him being commissioner and champion if they wanted to, because you could have done that whole power trip thing. Regal, I think, is right up there along with Owen and like British Bulldog and them as far as never being the WWE champion. It's the most successful ones not reaching that. And Regal, we're finding out from NXT, is a phenomenal commentator.
Oh, yeah.
So he's the entire package and can wrestle with, and still wrestle with anyone. I mean, he had a match with Cesaro on NXT a few months ago that was top notch. So
I love getting in the ring with him.
Maybe one day, Rome.
One day I can
One
get in the
day.
ring with him.
Is that why you dressed up? To like send out a request to Regal to wrestle him or something?
No, but now that you mention it, William Regal. No, I'm just. I got enough.
You're calling out Regal.
Yeah, I got enough challenges out on the internet right now this week. We'll talk about that at the end of the show.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you all for submitting, and as the show goes on, we'll think of what our homework assignment will be to everyone for this week.
Yeah, because we didn't even think about what it would be this week.
No, well, maybe someone will come to us as the show goes on.
Yeah.
Okay. So we started things off with Batista, based on the music that you heard to kick us off today. Batista comes out. The pants are a little looser tonight, a little baggier, to prevent them from ripping like they did on Raw.
Nothing has gone right for him.
It's almost to the point where I kind of, like a small part of me actually feels bad for him.
I feel really bad for him, actually.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Why?
I do. Because I think this was kind of like they were trying to play it, mess around, like, well, if we get mad at you guys for not liking me, then you'll start liking me, and it still didn't work. So it's like,
That's true.
I won't feel sorry for him until after WrestleMania. If he's still there around July, then
But how-
If he never wins the title with the hype of the movie, then I might feel a little sorry for him.
I think the way things are going, he might not. I don't think he has a shot in WrestleMania.
I don't know. Well, Batista shared his frustrations, talking about, since the day I left, you all begged me to come back to the WWE. So here I am, and you boo me.
But and the thing is, like, did we really beg you to come back to the WWE? No.
Well, he likes to think that.
See, that's why I feel bad for him. Like, wow, okay.
Was there a twitition?
Yeah, I didn't see a twitition. I didn't see a petition. I didn't see anything. I didn't.
Was the crowd chanting "We want Batista" at any point?
No, it wasn't.
I mean, they chant.
I saw some Batista sucks signs.
They chant Michael Cole sometimes.
They do. They do cheer. They do cheer for Michael Cole, but they haven't cheered for. Well, I mean, just to be fair, they're not even chanting for CM Punk anymore.
Yeah, those are kind of died out. So Batista's wondering, like, all you guys keep booing me, and now you cheering for Daniel Bryan. How does that make sense? He then shows the clip from Raw where he had the interaction with Orton and Stephanie, as Stephanie didn't necessarily slap his face, just slapped the hell out of his glasses.
Yeah, what were those? I want to know what kind of shades those were.
Oh, they were strong.
I
Because
want to know
break.
what row they fell into.
Somebody walked out with $1,000 pair of glasses.
And then Batista says once again that he's walking out of WrestleMania, your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And from there, he is interrupted by Triple H. And Batista, again, as anyone seems to do with Triple H, which is kind of true, they bring up Stephanie. Mm-hmm. They bring up the wife with everything with Triple H. And it's kind of oversaturated point at this point. We get it. His wife is the daughter of the owner.
It's been that way.
It's been that way for a long time.
It's not like, ooh, can't believe you said that.
There's got to be another reason you're upset at him.
Yeah. Nothing beats the same put downs. No, these put downs weren't even allowed because they weren't good enough. 12, 14 years ago, 15 years ago even, when it was the McMahon-Helmsley era, and people would come out and nothing, unless you can top The Rock and Chris Jericho when they made fun of Stephanie, then just don't even do it. Don't even do it. Like, Daniel Bryan telling her she hits like a girl. Well,
she is a girl, right?
Obviously, Daniel, she's a girl.
Yeah, she's ripped.
Yeah,
she's in great, incredible shape.
Looks phenomenal.
But now I like the fact that Triple H is kind of just like, well, doesn't matter how I got this job. All you should be concerned with is the fact that I have the power. And it's like, okay, that should just completely wipe it out. Done. Kaput. And Batista's like talking about how pretty much his feelings were hurt that Triple H mentioned that Batista's living off his past glories. And Triple H mentions the fact that, well, you left, went to Hollywood to sit back and watch your stunt double do your work, and now you've come back and we have yet to see the animal. And he asked the people, have you seen the animal yet? And everyone's like, no, we haven't.
No, haven't seen him.
So he's like, I'm going to give you a chance to find that animal tonight, because tonight you are going to go one-on-one. We're all thinking, okay, one-on-one with Daniel Bryan. The crowd is chanting yes. He's like, okay, because we know he's facing Orton on Raw, so it makes sense that he would face Daniel Bryan tonight. You're going one-on-one with Sheamus.
Question mark. Why?
Yeah, with Sheamus?
Yeah, that's how I felt. What? Rewind? Let's play again?
Hey, nothing is wrong with Sheamus.
No,
nothing wrong with Sheamus at all.
But
Not that much, at least.
it just didn't feel like there was any reason for it.
He's one of the guys that's thrown in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal because they don't have a program set with him.
I know exactly what this is, and I'm just trying to deal with it until we get to Mania. This is that lull right before WrestleMania. Like the go home shows for WrestleMania
will be next week. Raw and SmackDown next week.
Those will be good. But the last two SmackDowns, and especially SmackDown and main event, they're gonna pull back the top level talent. Those guys are just gonna be on Raw, and they're not even gonna do that much work there. They're just gonna show up, do their deal, and stay healthy.
Right.
Way too much money riding on
the last thing I want is someone to like twist their ankle or be like apparently Christian on Raw and get a concussion.
Yeah.
And so who knows if Christian's going to be ready for Mania or not.
Wasn't his fault.
No. I was trying to think where the actual moment was where he got it.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I don't remember it.
It was when Del Rio kicked him in the back of the head.
Well, Del Rio does that to everyone.
Yeah, but this one was in there. Yeah, this one hit flush.
All right, well, so later on tonight, we're going to see Batista versus Sheamus. Meanwhile, we get a little recap of what happened last week between The Shield and Kane and the New Age Outlaws, and we found out this past Monday on Raw. It is official 6-man tag match, so The Shield versus Outlaws and Kane. And that leads us to the incredibly competitive matchup of Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins versus Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre of 3MB.
Quite exciting.
Jinder has gotten in incredible shape. I don't know when this happened, but Jinder is ripped now.
It doesn't make him win.
Well, no, he's still in 3MB.
Just saying.
He's still with 3MB.
Like,
but for the longest
that group, dude.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, McIntyre was like the most physically intimidating one, and now it's Jinder.
Yeah, he's trying to,
And he's trying to do his thing.
I think Ginger has had a pretty nice jacked body for a while. Just saying. But he's not my man box.
He's not man box worthy.
Not yet.
Yeah.
He's working on it.
Keep working.
Got to get out of 3MB. I'll think about it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there it is, Jinder. You know your assignment.
Don't hinder.
At least I'm not calling him Ginger.
Who was calling him Ginger?
Eva Marie?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah. She did do that.
I try to erase what she says in my mind.
Did it really happen?
Rollins early in the match hit the Three Amigos, which that's new for him.
Random.
Yeah, I'm just like, all right.
Hey, I like it. I do that spot. I couldn't say that.
And we now officially know the name of Dean Ambrose's finishing move. It took over a year. We were calling it the Denial because, like, that kind of makes some sense. Someone else calling it like the Injustice or things like that. It's called Dirty Deeds. What?
Is that for sure?
It was either Dirty Deeds or Dirty Dean.
What did I think it was? Dirty Dance?
Yeah.
It's not
made no
Dirty
sense.
Dance. It is not Dirty Dance.
You did not win the game.
We actually had to rewind it and put the captions on it. It still made no sense.
And the caption said dirty and just the letter D.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a profanity. Whoa, too much?
Not in
That's
the
much? Okay.
PG.
Yeah.
I
PG
know.
SmackDown. Yeah. Even though that would have been cool.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So the Dirty Deeds for the win. And after that, then Kane and the Outlaws come out all suited up. It's weird seeing the Outlaws in suits.
Yeah, when they came out, I went, okay, there's Kane and there's two more guys. Oh. It's the corporate Outlaws. That's new.
I think they clean up nice, actually. I think they look better in their suits.
They do, but being that their name is the New Age Outlaws.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Well, they've been the New Age Outlaws for about a decade.
Yeah.
But more than that.
Yeah.
They've earned that seniority. They can wear what they
Badass Billy Gunn wears a suit.
Yeah. They're a little older now.
Yeah, so Kane says that what you did to 3MB is exactly what we're going to do to you at Mania, but we're not going to ambush you like you did to your next opponents. And out comes Ryback.
And no one gets excited.
So now we got Ambrose and Rollins versus Ryback. By the way, guys that are in the tag team title match,
Yeah.
the Shield just wrestled a match. And the Shield pretty much dominate this match. And the Peace of Mind by Rollins gets the pin over Axel. And then all of a sudden they go and grab Ryback from the outside and just all three of them beat the crap out of him. A Superman punch and a triple powerbomb. We're all thinking, okay, well, the Real Americans were also involved in that match last week with the beatdown. Now it makes sense for the Real Americans to come out and then maybe they'll beat them or Kane and them will come down. No, we get a stare down.
Yeah. I was hoping. I was just hoping, praying, really, that the Real Americans would come out and we just continue this absurdity of feeding teams to the Shield.
Keep feeding teams to the Shield. Those teams lose, but those teams are in the tag team title match at WrestleMania.
It just, there were two sad moments with that. That part when we just had to watch them look at each other lovingly, and the part when Ryback came out, and I realized it's been this way for some time, but I realized that there's no like fear or excitement or anything when you hear his music anymore.
Yeah.
Usually
You're not intimidated by Ryback anymore.
You used to hear it and it's like, oh yeah.
It gets you
You get
pumped.
that feeling.
Because you're like, all right, this is one of the strongest dudes.
Yeah.
And he's like, feed me more. Now it's like, feed
Now
you
it's
not.
just- yeah.
You know,
Feed you Curtis Axel, maybe.
right around the time that it stopped looking intimidating was when he blocked me on Twitter.
Oh, gosh. Okay, let's move on. Next. Next.
Wow. Let's go on to the next
That was a
match.
segue? Question mark?
Sin Cara versus Damien Sandow rematch from the 1 minute complete annihilation that Sin Cara gave to Sandow on Monday Night Raw. This match starts out Sandow extremely aggressive and angry for being embarrassed on Raw by Sin Cara, and Scooby-Doo happened to be there. I was waiting for Scooby-Doo to take off his mask and it be Punk.
No.
Really?
Well, it'd been hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
He showed up again.
Scooby-Doo's coming in the studio.
What I love is every week, Phil has that ready
Yeah.
for at any time. He's just like, I'm going to put the Punk's music on at some point during the show. But yeah, so Sandow, very aggressive, and then all of a sudden, Sin Cara got out of the way in a splash, rolled him up, and pinned him.
The end.
This match maybe lasted 2 minutes, so Sandow's made progress. But remember, last week he had like a real good 10-plus minute match with Ziggler.
I don't like watching Sandow lose to Sin Cara, guys. I just don't like it.
Well, the original Sin Cara was officially released, I believe, yesterday.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been Hun Cara
Yeah.
for the last few months anyway. But I'm just actually kind of curious, now that the news has officially come out, because on WWE's site, it mentions the original Sin Cara has, been released. I'm curious if that means they're going to just stop the character altogether, or if they're still going to just kind of do what they do with Hunico as it.
I think they're gonna do it simply because the original Sin Cara was claiming he owned the gimmick, and
Which they never do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as he said that, they literally started putting Sin Cara on
I just wonder
television
how it's
every
going
week.
to work.
Yeah, WWE was like, "Oh, you own it. Okay, well, let's do this."
And the thing is, unlike Proud, Sin Cara gets huge cheers.
Really?
Huge, yeah.
I hadn't had the
Well, with
pleasure
the
of being in
kids.
a live arena when the lights go blue.
Well, with
but
the kids, though. The kids love him.
Well, they love Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, him too.
I think if you have color and a mask, they love you.
And if you're little.
Yeah, you have to be little.
That's why Dana Bryan.
Do I
so
count?
loved.
I'm little.
The crowd will love you.
Yeah,
okay.
you're adorable.
The corporation is strong.
Until you have your villain face on.
What's that?
The one that you had in that picture on Facebook last week, but the people can't see that. So
That's my X-Men face.
The X-Men face?
I'm a mutant.
Okay.
All right, let's move on.
You got to tweet that out so people know what we're talking about.
yeah, she's a mutant.
Renee Young is backstage with the Big Show asking about his thoughts because tonight's main event, Big Show's going one-on-one with Bray Wyatt. And Big Show, very quiet, very un-Big Show-like, very quiet and worried. Talking about how what the Wyatts did to Cena on Raw was twisted. The three of them can be intimidating. They make you question yourself, and you question yourself because some of what Bray says actually, in a crazy way, makes sense. So tonight, I guess I have a giant problem on my hands. But then again, so do they. He had to get that little part in at the end there.
Yeah.
But like, he sounded legitimately, like, worried about having to face the Wyatts. And to see, you know, it's one thing to have Cena looking like he's afraid, but when you're having the largest guy on your roster afraid, that's really putting the Wyatts over.
I wasn't impressed.
I'm not asking you if you're impressed with Big Show's promo. I'm just saying as far as the build-up of what they're doing.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the build-up and the way I view the Wyatts. There's nothing now. Nothing can happen from this point into WrestleMania that will have me worried more than I already am.
Mm-hmm.
I know what those characters are. I know what they can do. I'm having a hard time figuring out who's going to win that match betwing Cena and Bray Wyatt.
I think that one might be the toughest to pick.
Yeah. They're at such a level that you don't even why have Big Show be scared of them? They're already that good. Just they didn't even have to come out. If you wanted to feed somebody to them, just throw 3MB out there and let them destroy them and go on. Because that's essentially what it was, pretty much.
So what you're saying is you don't think 3MB has a shot of winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal?
Man, they have as much chance.
Read between the lines. Yes, you're right.
There you go.
Goldust versus Fandango. Fandango the last several weeks have been wrestling members of tag teams.
Just individual.
He's wrestled Goldust twice. He's wrestled Cody, and last week he wrestled Fernando of Los Matadores.
That was confusing.
Yeah. Michael Cole liked to point out that Summer Rae was in her Aladdin outfit.
And then they started talking about I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah.
I felt like that was kind of irrelevant to the commentating aspects,
Really?
but you know,
Yeah.
on occasion that happens. Women distract men.
I actually thought it was kind of interesting that there was no Cody at ringside.
Well, you didn't even notice until halfway.
Well, I didn't
through the
notice until
match.
like the end of the match. I'm like, wait a minute, where's Cody? Because Summer Rae was getting involved. I was like, all right, well, here's Cody's cue. Wait, where's Cody? So
he caught Summer Rae. What was that? A week ago? 2 weeks ago?
right on Raw, and then like last week, Goldust was dancing with Summer Rae,
Yeah.
and you know these distractions would help whichever Rhodes brother beat Fandango. This week, no Cody at ringside. And the distraction this time works because then as Goldust starts heading back in the ring, a kick by Fandango and a roll-up with a giant handful of tights. And Fandango gets the win, which we haven't seen him win in a little while. So,
Well, with the help of Summer Rae.
yeah, with the help of one Summer Rae.
Finally.
Of an Aladdin Summer Rae tonight.
Hey, it was hot.
It was
I
hot.
give her that.
Yeah.
It was. What?
It was hot, but I'm saying,
Don't
why
give
is
me
it
that
Aladdin?
face, Kaori.
Wouldn't it be Princess Jasmine, not Aladdin? You men?
Yes. That's why we're saying it, because we found it funny that Michael Cole called her Aladdin.
Okay. I didn't find it funny. Move on.
Okay.
I didn't even hear him say it. I was just looking at her.
I understand.
Yeah.
You get fixated.
Eh.
No. We'll see. Divas match, we'll see what you say about that.
Yes.
We will get there. We will get there. Batista versus Sheamus.
Gosh, this was not... I'm sorry.
Well, no, wow, no, go right ahead.
It wasn't a good match.
You weren't impressed
I
with this.
wasn't impressed. I was wishing I had another burger at that time to pay attention to.
Another what?
burger.
Another burger. She
Oh, you wanted more in and out.
Yeah.
more in and out.
You know, we should plug in and out a lot. Hopefully, they'll give us free stuff if we just keep plugging
Oh,
them.
yeah. Yeah, it wasn't that. It was a little too long.
It was like 5 minutes.
But then it was still a little too long.
I was going to say the reason that it wasn't good was because it was so short.
I just didn't like the whole match. I'm sorry, guys. Wasn't into it at all.
I found it really interesting because Sheamus is obviously a very viable opponent for Batista, former WWE champion, former World Heavyweight Champion. And it deserves more of a build-up. Sheamus deserves more.
I think that's a big problem with this match. It just felt like random.
Just thrown out.
Yeah. And then when that happens, I'm usually not too invested into the match, obviously, and that's what happened.
And for this match, as short as it was, Sheamus was in control for almost the whole thing. Lines up for the bro kick as he goes for a Batista, rolls out of the ring. Sheamus goes after him. Batista grabs a chair. Ref calls for the DQ. Batista beats him down with a chair, then delivers a Batista bomb. All in the midst of this, Triple H is watching on a monitor backstage, and Batista says, like, Hunter, is that what you wanted? Mm-hmm. This is the animal. Here I am. So the animal is a guy that gets his butt kicked all match and then has to use a chair.
And he's sweating a lot at the end, exhausted, tired. He looks a little scared of WrestleMania. I'm sorry, I'm just not buying the whole.
You are vicious.
Today, yes.
You are vicious tonight.
Can we just say it? The show sucked.
Today it was bad.
Let's just say it.
High five.
I mean, that's what we're sitting here.
Like, we love the show.
Come on.
Today was just not
We
good.
are an after show. We review. It sucked. Sorry. Not saying anything against the talent. Not saying that the talent wasn't good. Just the show sucked. The writers don't give a damn right now. We know it. WrestleMania's a week away.
They're preparing for Mania. They're preparing for Mania.
Yeah, that's it. They went through the motion. So damn it, we are too.
Yeah. Well said. I was trying to veil it with my unimpressed faces.
Yeah.
But...
No, I can't do it anymore.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Feel better?
All right.
So good.
So as we continue Rome's final show, let's remind everyone to go to iTunes.
There you go. Now that's a segue.
And make sure you subscribe and listen to all the great AfterBuzz shows where we do SmackDown, we do Raw, we do NXT, Main Event, Total Divas, and pretty much any other show that you enjoy watching. More than likely AfterBuzz does. You can see the full schedule of them on their website, AfterBuzzTV.com. Also, make sure you check out Marie Menounos' new show on the Oxygen Network, and we do an AfterBuzz for that, too. And as always, leave comments on iTunes as well as YouTube. We do respond, and we still got to think of a homework assignment for you guys, but we will. And you can leave your answers with that on YouTube, as well as catch up on Twitter at AfterBuzzTV for all the AfterBuzz details. And from there, we get a I'm just going.
I thought you burped for a second.
I didn't know.
Because I know that he's trying to stay at the level, but he can't.
I'm trying. I really am trying. Because we know. We don't. I'm trying to think of Rome. You just completely threw me off there.
Get it back, man. Get it back.
I will. I'll definitely get it back. Some shows are definitely better than others. This is true. But we're going to do this because there were a few fun moments. One of them's coming up in a little bit.
We had moments.
Yeah.
Moments.
The chat roll is going off on you going off, Rome. So we got a recap of the issue between John Cena and the Wyatts, and from Monday Night Raw, where Cena was tied up in the ropes and he had the sheet mask on, with the crowd chanting "This is awesome," which is kind of funny in a way. And then we get a Bray Wyatt promo, and these we know are always good. These we always are entertained by.
Are you doing it?
Should I?
No. Okay. You can do it if you want.
I'll just talk about it. I don't have to do the impression.
Honestly, if you want to, you can.
Well, I don't need your permission.
Okay. Up to you. Go for it.
Rome, should I do it?
Man, do it.
No, I'm kidding. Bray's talking about how he's going to reveal his true face and that nobody is innocent, John. Everyone's worn a mask at some point or another, whether it was to hide their wrongdoings or to fit into some social scene. Does not make a difference. The problem, though, if you hide behind the mask for too long, it becomes you. And then to remove the mask is to, remove your own skin. Yeah.
That what he did to you?
Yes! Anytime he cuts these promos, it creeps me out. That's why I love it so much.
You okay over there?
No. When am I ever okay?
Do we need to bring your Snuggie in?
If you could.
You wear Snuggies?
I should. I have a rose Snuggie.
Oh my
Bring it to you.
gosh. It's a giant rose. And
It's
your
a
face
giant
comes out
rose
the middle.
Snuggie. Do they make those? They make them. Someone buy me
See
one.
what you started?
Buy me a
He
rose
said Snuggie
Snuggie.
first, okay? So
I didn't say Snuggie first. Rome did.
Wait, I thought you did.
No.
We gotta rewind.
Listen. I understand you weren't too thrilled about the show, but listen.
I'm listening.
So we can talk about the Divas now, because AJ and Tamina versus the Bellas. Vicky is on commentary. We found out on Raw pretty much what I actually predicted last week, which I was joking about when I said that I think every Diva is the number one contender. Well, every Diva apparently is the number one contender.
Yeah.
And we are having a 14 Diva Vicky Guerrero Divas Invitational.
I think they have to add another stipulation in there before WrestleMania. I don't know what, but...
We don't even know what the match is yet.
Well, I heard that what's going to happen is the first one pinned becomes champion. They don't even have to pin AJ.
So it's a fatal 14-way?
And that's what I heard.
That would be the biggest disaster.
Okay, well, lately the Divas...
How would one ref be able to control 14 people in the ring at once?
well, the Divas thing has been a little disastrous lately anyway, so...
Well, they haven't built a feud.
Exactly. It's been problematic.
I don't know what they're doing with the Divas. The Divas.
And it's just tragic because they were just catching so much
Yeah,
momentum,
they
and
were on
now
fire.
it's just on a flat plane.
When Oksana and Naomi had that little incident in the ring, and her
Where
eye
Naomi got hurt. That ruined
Yeah.
it. Because they were building Naomi and AJ.
Yeah, but
And they had no backup plan.
how do you not have what are we, the Green Bay Packers, and Aaron Rodgers got hurt?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get it. There's another Diva there. You can plug someone else in.
I mean, when you think about it, Nikki has also never gotten her one-on-one Divas title match. You could have threw her in there.
Yep, they really could have.
You could have done the breakup with AJ and Tamina.
But they
that.
had Cameron and AJ at the last pay-per-view.
Yeah. The reason it irks me is because she's had that belt for so long that it actually means a lot more.
It will
than
be
used to.
just under 300 days at WrestleMania.
And yeah, it's time for a change. It's feeling like it's getting boring, but part of the reason that it feels like it's getting boring is because there's no one building up to the belt anymore. Like, now they just say, okay, we're gonna throw a wave of people at AJ
I
to
think
get the belt.
it almost feels like the one that comes closest for me right now is Tamina.
Yeah.
And-
Man, bring back Karma. Jeez.
It's just...
I want Karma back.
And well, what you're saying is it makes perfect sense because the same thing can be said about the Intercontinental title. We were ecstatic when Big E won.
Yeah.
Because we're like, okay, we can set up, and like his first month or two, they had feuds going. He was defending the title. This is great, bringing it back, having stories. What has he done with that? He defended the title on main event against a guy who won a match earlier in that night.
Yeah.
And that always makes the champion look weak, regardless of who it is.
Well, they're having a lot of problems with the championship belts right now. I mean, also the U.S. title.
Well, that's a whole different
Yeah.
thing.
You got the
I
U.S.
mean-
title. You got Randy Orton walking around with 2 titles.
Yeah,
for
the
what
two
reason?
highest ones are
don't
just
even-
hanging out.
But it's supposed to only be one.
Yeah.
It's just, but
After Mania, maybe we'll just have one.
he should have just united it into one. Maybe. No.
I don't know.
Considering that he is the United Champion,
Yeah.
literally, he could.
Yeah. But meanwhile, as far as this Divas match goes, the whole point of it was on commentary, them trying to ask Vicky, how is this match going to work?
And
And
she
we-
doesn't even know.
No.
She doesn't
has
even
no
know.
idea.
She's like, we'll see.
They
So
flew her in for this just to sit out there and explain what's going on.
yeah, we don't know. I mean, to me, it makes the most sense for it to be like the Cruiserweight Open from WrestleMania 20 was essentially a gauntlet match. 2 people start one-on-one. As soon as one gets pinned or submitted, next guy runs in, then they continue the match until everyone's entered the ring. And they had the champion at that time, I believe was Chavo, go last. So here's the thing, though. That was at Madison Square Garden. It was not a very long entrance ramp.
Yeah.
They can't really do that with this one because people's entrances are going to be longer than their physical match.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious. They're not going to do a battle royal because we already have the giant 30-man one. So I'm really curious what they're going to do with this. I'm actually intrigued to find out just to see how creative they get with it. But we got a week.
Yep.
So
They got to figure it out
Yeah.
fast and explain it to us.
Yeah, we need to know
Yeah.
so we can be excited for it.
Yeah. I mean, just don't mind us. We're just the fans. Don't listen. It doesn't matter. You can just put on the show. We're gonna buy it and watch it.
So someone in the chat mentions a scramble match, which is a good idea, except when there's 14 of them.
Yeah.
That's a little. I mean, there could be 3 people making pinfalls at the same time. Who's going to count them?
Maybe every ref will also work the show
Well, every ref will work the show. Maybe every ref will work that match.
at the same time. That's what I mean. Yeah, that match.
But yeah, and meanwhile, though, this match, Tamina finally has it with AJ, pushes AJ back in the ring. She gets hit by Bree's X Factor, and the Bellas win. So Vicky is laughing at commentary because apparently Vicky still hates AJ from a year ago.
Yeah.
And
Matter of fact, I think somebody just brought that up on the chat roll.
oh, well, yeah. So we're building up. Maybe we'll get more info on Raw. Hopefully, we get info soon. I don't care if it's on the network. I don't care if it's a WWE app exclusive. We just need info on what this match is.
Yep.
Because
if it's involving that many people, we need to know.
Maybe it's just right there. Maybe it really is just Snuka gonna take AJ's belt.
Bring Paige up. Anything.
Yeah.
That would
be cool.
That
A
would be
sudden
something.
entrant suddenly wins the title, like a Paige or a Bailey.
Yeah.
One of the NXT divas or NXT women. They're not called divas really down there.
Divas yet.
No.
Whatever.
Rome.
Santino and Emma go on a date. This, I'm just going to say it now. This was my favorite part of SmackDown, this segment.
This was the best match of the night.
I'm not saying best match. I'm like, this was just my favorite segment.
Was for me.
So, Santino, for a while now, has been trying to confess his feelings to Emma. Emma agrees to go on this date with him. Things seem to be going okay. Nothing's being spilled.
But she's not agreeing to go on a date because I don't think she thinks it's a date. So
Right. Because she mentions that, Santino, you're the ultimate friend with benefits. From a guy's perspective, guys enjoy hearing that. Mm-hmm. She has a different definition to it. Just saying, oh, well, you're my friend, and things like dinner are benefits.
I guess.
No.
She pointed to the roses, the wine. She said all those were individual benefits.
Yes. Santino.
Easy to please, I guess.
Yeah, Santino asked her to look into, or asked to look into her eyes because he wants to tell her something, and Emma's like, "Cool, staring contest." That was hilarious.
That was funny.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "You better not blink."
Yeah.
And somehow in the mix of this, though, Santino's getting sick. Like he's afraid he's going to puke because he's nervous. This is the guy who had relationships with Maria, Beth Phoenix, and Tamina.
Yep.
I might be forgetting one.
Probably are.
I mean, Santino's like one of the biggest players in the WWE as far as TV romances. And now he's with someone that's actually quirkier than him. And he doesn't know how to explain. Like, he's the straight one in this relationship, which is very odd for Santino's character. But I'm enjoying it.
Showing his range.
Yes, his extensive range there.
Yeah, his range and acting skills.
So Emma sees him struggling with his words. She's like, "No, you don't have to worry. I know what you're going to say. You and I will always be the best of friends." And Santino's like, "No, that's not what I'm trying to say."
Friend zoned.
No,
Ultimate friend zone.
and he's like, "I do not want to be in the friend zone." To me, you are, and he starts getting sick. So, what's the best cure if someone's about to throw up? You give them wine.
Well, again, she's not
Yeah.
the sharpest.
Here, drink this wine. He takes a sip, spits it all over her, which is just kind of disgusting.
It wasn't enough spit, though. It was just like little speckles.
Yeah.
See, he agrees. Even then.
Barely even drank it.
Yeah, he's like, boop, boop.
Because he was going to throw up. And then he ran off to throw up, and Emma's just kind of sitting there in shock with Santino's spit wine all over her chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought it was a very funny segment, and I'm curious how it's going to develop and when it will finally peak. Because they've been doing this for a little while now.
Yeah.
From there, we got a match, Swagger versus Jimmy Uso. So one half of a tag team versus another half of a tag team. I'm cool with that when tag teams are feuding. And this really proves the fact that, oh, by the way, Ryback and Los Matadores are left in that match, but they're not important. We're just going to do this. Jimmy Uso pretty much in control the entire time, and then Swagger locks on the Patriot Lock and makes him tap out. Thought it was kind of interesting they did it that way, but I'm glad Swagger actually won that match. Helps the real Americans' momentum. So it makes you think they have a shot at taking the titles at Mania.
And it's nice to see them being friends again.
Yeah, now they're getting along perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Quick recap of Lesnar and Undertaker from Raw with the Druids, who the Druids had a longer entrance than 5 Monday Night Raw matches.
Oh, yeah.
And, the creepy interaction with Lesnar opening the casket, Taker not there, then all of a sudden he opened it again, and he was there. But we've seen that antic before.
I still like it, though.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I was expecting something a little different. Like, I knew when he opened it, he wasn't going to be there. But it was just like, that's when all of a sudden he would just, like, maybe either come up from under the ring or suddenly show up on the Tron, just somehow show up somewhere else. But yeah, so they're continuing to build that up. I'm really excited for that match. Can't wait for that. Mark Henry versus The Miz. Miz has a one-on-one match.
Out of nowhere. Yeah. He's got to prepare.
It's cool.
Yeah. Got to get ready for a match. This was a pretty good match. I mean, it did its purpose. It was fairly short. Mark Henry won with the World's Strongest Slam. But the big thing with it was the fact that Miz threw Mark Henry over the top rope and was like, yeah, that's what you got to do to win the Battle Royal at WrestleMania, so I'm going to win it. And Mark Henry's like, you realize that's not how you win this match.
Yeah.
Drags him out, beats the crap out of him, and then gets the win.
Done. Yeah.
Not really much to say about that.
Okay.
Inductee to the Hall of Fame we found on Raw. We briefly kind of mentioned it last week. We mentioned Scott Hall. It's not Scott Hall. It is one Razor Ramon. One of Scott Hall's alter egos is the one being inducted. Why do you think they're not inducting Scott Hall, but just Razor Ramon?
Because Razor's their creation, not Scott.
True.
That's the main reason. That's why I would think it. I mean, you got Scott was a star in AWA, and he was a star in WCW, but the WWF star at the time was Razor Ramon.
I'm thinking it's because they're thinking one day down the road they're actually going to induct the NWO.
Now that would be dope.
And so in that case, that's Scott Hall.
Yeah.
And that I wouldn't necessarily it's not like Vincent and and Wall Street are going to be in that. It'll be Hogan, Hall, and Nash. But needless to say, good for Razor. He deserves it. I'm guessing we're not going to get any more inductions because really we just have next week.
That's it.
But
yeah.
That's an incredible Hall of Fame class. Main event time, Big Show versus Bray Wyatt. When this match starts and we see that there's only 5 minutes left in SmackDown, we know this isn't going to be very long.
Not going to be long. Yep.
This was interesting, honestly, because Big Show kind of acted like his usual giant self, but Bray wasn't having anything of it, and the mind games were actually really working. And then Rowan distracting the ref while Big Show was on the outside. Big boot by Harper leads to the Sister Abigail and a quick, clean win. Yep. Well, I guess not clean because Harper hit him, but a quick win for Bray over the 7-foot, near 500-pound Big Show. More momentum heading into WrestleMania, and that is how SmackDown ends. Whew, we just did like the last 20 minutes of SmackDown in about 3 minutes there. Because, like we were saying, this wasn't the greatest SmackDown.
No, it wasn't.
It provided some comedic things. It provided some things for the undercard, for the Battle Royal. But as far as your key matches, not a whole lot, other than that one exchange between Triple H and Batista. So I don't think you guys want me to ask you match of the night this week.
I have Santino Emma.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. We'll say match of the night was the date between Santino and Emma. And your homework assignment, YouTube homework assignment. We got to do that real quick before we take off.
I barely got time.
No, we're just.
Yeah. I got another show.
What do you guys think the Divas stipulation should be?
There you go. How should the Divas match be? Like, what should the Divas match be? That's a good question.
Thank
Kaori.
you.
Top of the head. There you go.
Kaori
Thank you.
knocked that one out. So yeah, that's going to do it for this week's SmackDown AfterBuzz. Make sure, again, as always, to leave us those comments on YouTube, answer that question, and we always respond. But in the meantime, Rome, how can people reach out to you?
Rome the Ruler, as always, and you can also catch me on Black Hollywood Live right now.
He's about to go on for another show right now. Corey.
You can find me on Instagram as well as Twitter at KAORIOUS, Kaorius.
And you can, of course, follow me on Twitter at CRosieVOC. Thanks so much for tuning in this week for Rome Moore and Corey Takee. I'm Christian Rosenberg. See you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Talk to you later.
I'll be the only one to do it.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.